and welcome to episode 146 of Gamers of a Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony Chesson, and joining me this week, it's the other Spark on the pod. He's the nicest pirate in the Sea of Thieves. It's Mr. James Thomas.
Hello, Antony. How are you doing, sir?
I'm not too bad, sir. I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's been a tiny rough week. Ali and I have both been ill over the last 7 days.
Oh, no.
We're here. Well, I'm here. Hopefully Ali's all right downstairs. I haven't checked in her in 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm here. Ready to pod.
Nice. Has it been flu? Has it been kind of flu-y symptoms, that type of stuff that's going around?
I know. I came home one day, about 10 days ago from work, just like shivering. Just probably feel like shivering.
Right. And
then just basically slept for most of the next 18 hours and then woke up completely fine.
Oh, wow.
Had a minor relapse the week after, but bounced back. So have you had it going around your way then?
Well, yeah, there has been a lot of kind of like colds and flus, especially at work. We've had a couple of those. Right now, I'm feeling I've got a bit of a glow on. Right now, I'm just looking at the pod. I've got a bit of a glow on.
You look positively radiant.
I know. I keep going hot and then shivering, and I've got a bit of a sore throat. So I've got honey and lemon on standby because that's kind of the professional that I am in my ember mug. So it's staying at a nice.
It's balancing.
It's 61 degrees, and it's going to stay like that for the whole pod, so which is quite nice.
Sweet. Yeah, well, I had to send someone home. Well, someone sent themselves home from work locally the other day. They were off ill one day, and then came in the next one. I'm fine, and then by 11 o'clock going, this was a mistake.
Yes.
This was a get back home, save yourself, and save the office.
Yes.
Please don't take down 20 engineers.
I'm just going to come in, I'm going to cough over everybody and touch things, and now I'm going to go home. Absolutely. I'd rather people just stay at home. I mean, it's quite good at where I work, because we can work from home. So, if I need, and I remember kind of last year I had a really bad flu. And the first day I was in bed, I couldn't move, or cold, it wasn't a flu. I had a cold and I couldn't move. But then the second day, I was just up. I wasn't 100%, giving my utilisation, but I was just there in a big jumper, feeling sorry for myself, but answering emails and helping. So yeah. It's quite cool. So I'm just at home, quarantined. I don't think I went out for a couple of days that day, that week. It was horrible.
I was the same after my shivers. So the next day, it's I don't want to go in just in case, but my brain is going I'm bored of just staring at the ceiling or the inside of my eyelids, so let's just do some work. So yeah, I call it a pajama day.
Yes. Let's just play some Tetris. I guess Tetris probably wasn't out. The Tetris 99 wasn't out at that point, I'm guessing.
No, I was doing work. I was legitimately doing work. You can't sully me with your standards there.
No. Oh, you know what? That's one thing I never do. I just never I never fire up my consoles or take my Switch up to the office, because it would just be, I'd be on a meeting and they would just hear my teammates would just hear the clicking of a joypad. It was just what's that clicking sound? I'm like, nothing. So I mentioned Sea of Thieves because I have to mention that you put out you and I guess the guys at Rare as well have put out such a heartfelt tweet, which I'll stick in the show notes last night, which I really loved. I just sat there, I was just like, that's really adorable, and it was really cool, and it was quite nice. And and for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's kind of, what does Sea of Thieves mean to me? Is that the kind of gist of it?
Yeah, because we're approaching the year anniversary
of
Sea of Thieves in the next few weeks, and I think it's affected a lot of us at work, because this is the first service-driven game a lot of us have done, especially those long-term at Rare. This is the first game that we've really truly supported past release for any length of time, and it's got its hooks in quite a few of us. And so for some people, they've really bonded with the community and helped on streams. For some people, they've just really liked the fan art and the things that come in. But for me, the thing that has really defined what's happened over the last 12 months is really just the friends that I keep playing with online, which is why I still keep playing it to this day. There's no obligation from work. It's the fact that I've reconnected with friends who I used to make on the Pinata forums. What's Pinata, about 10, 11, 12 years ago now?
Must be, yes.
And I actually meeting back up with a few of those folk was superb. And then playing with friend Phil, who lives around the corner, and my cousin Nick. And it's just a little nod, little statement, just saying how much it's been just a really lovely experience playing with so many people who I never really played games with before. Yeah. And I know, we've had people come in and out of the group. Like we've got a big WhatsApp group for Sea of Thieves, and I know you're on it as well. But just people dipping in and out, and it just makes each session completely unique depending on who can turn up for it.
Yes,
so, yeah,
absolutely. It's I quite like that. It's that kind of call to sale. It's like, is anyone up for a sale this evening? And then kind of rally the troops to kind of have a bit of a sale. And it just it's always lovely when that happens. It's just it's so great. Just I mean, even the other day I jumped in. I had it was my birthday last week, and kind of just to stretch out my birthday, I had my brother-in-law and my nephews around for dinner, and so it was all good fun. And then we kind of spent the whole day together, and they were doing it. I was cooking, and it was just really good fun just to spend that. And when the guys left, I was still on quite a high, so I just decided just to kind of stick on Sea of Thieves and have just a little bit of a sail around. And I was being
little poodle.
Yeah, exactly. I was being mischievous when I was kind of having a sail around. So I was kind of leaving my ship, going to sailing off into the distance, and having people kind of just attack my ship while I was now sitting on their crow's nest having fun and listening to them going, I think he's in the crow's nest. There was just stressing, and then killing them all, which was really good fun. And I just fancied just like jumping in and just having a little bit of a chuckle, and it was just so much fun. I wasn't doing any quests. I was just being mischievous, and I just really liked it. It was just really made me laugh.
There's just this giggling noise from up in the crow's nest.
Yes.
It's like, what's there?
Yeah, it was. I was on mic and everything, so I could just kind of see them, and it was just really funny. It just really made me laugh. So I absolutely loved it. Yeah. So what else have you been up to apart from that? Like I say, I'll stick a link to that tweet in the show notes because it was just a really cool thing to do.
Quite quiet weekend because of how everyone's feeling. But did go down to Wembley last week to watch Spurs in the Champions League, which was quite nice. It was ended up winning 3-0, which was very good. But I tried to explain to Ali after I came back, it was the slowest 3-0 win that I've ever seen. Because I swear for most of the game we were just playing patience. It was just passing it around between the two centre-backs and then trying to have a prod up front every now and again. But yeah, just being there on a good European night is fun. It still doesn't have quite the atmosphere of the old ground, so I'm looking forward to hopefully in a couple of months' time when we get to go back to White Hart Lane. But yeah, it's about the only time I get down to see them, like the midweek games, because Saturday is just the weekend is just a nightmare trying to get down to Wembley and back. So yeah, the evening games. Although the hell is then the M1 being shut on the way back, and like an hour detour around the country lanes of Milton Keynes. So you got to take the rough with the smooth on that one. If you'd have asked me at that point when I was on my umpteenth B road that was single track and there was a Land Rover coming the other way, because of the diversion, Google pushing cars both ways down a single track lane.
Oh my goodness!
It was not worth this. So in the morning when that memory had faded, the wind was back again. But yeah,
and of course you had the Nintendo Direct that you wanted to race home for as well.
Oh, yes,
that happened.
I completely forgot about like when I was on the tube on the way back, just trying to catch up with everything that's. I can't believe we didn't actually put that in the news. Given that happened, let's cover this slightly now then, because I'm disappointed there was no Animal Crossing.
No,
obviously there was the entire Thomas sibling WhatsApp group was lit up with disappointment that there was nothing there, but there were some very nice offerings in there. What's it called? The Link's Awakening.
Yes, that was the
remake of Link's Awakening. Looked absolutely lovely. Like, this is the old original Game Boy Zelda game, and I can remember borrowing this from my friend Gareth in the playground when he'd finished with it. and obviously this was the time eBay gum, before the internet and before many walkthroughs and stuff. And I can remember it being like one of the hardest games, because this is probably like a 10-year-old me just trying to figure out what on earth was going on in this open world, and sort of just trying to prod around, find the secret levels and so. I loved it so much over Christmas I even tried to get it off eBay, so I'm delighted to see this coming back with the Switch, and hopefully with all the modern niceties they're going to introduce with it.
Yes, and it just looks incredible. It has this kind of 2.5D just cute look. I played there also, because that came out that day was the Yoshi's Crafted World, which I'll get to in a bit, but that has such an adorable look. But this just won it. This was, it kind of came up at the end. It was the last thing to show. It was that and something else, and they started with the kind of an anime intro when it showed Link in the sea, so instantly I thought they're going to do Wind Waker. I thought this is Wind Waker, they're going to lead into that. And then I think a lot of people who maybe kind of know Link's Awakening more than I do, they then kind of guessed that it was going to be that, and then they started showing just a quick montage of what it looks like. And it's coming out this year, isn't it? It's 2019.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to kind of get my hands on that and play that, because it's a game that I've never played. So I've never played Link's Awakening, so this is just a brand new one for me, really.
Yeah, I've only got those misty memories from way back when with it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in colour and actually trying to remember everything about it apart from the beach and the egg.
Yes.
But I've always loved the 2D Zeldas. I would actually say I prefer the 2D Zeldas to the 3D ones.
Wow.
And it probably is because where you first got experience with, with like Link to the Past and the original NES one, so I just have that soft spot. And I think don't get me wrong, like the Switch Zelda was absolutely immaculate, but I've just thought there's a nice level of control and puzzle and just readability of the AI and the puzzles and everything else that you can get on a single screen dungeon that is just beautiful. It is the era I came from, but I just adore those. Everything from Spirit Tracks right back to the original.
Yes, and it just looks, like I say, I just cannot wait to get my hands on that, and it just looks like it's going to come with kind of modern controls and all of that, as you say, all those modern niceties. So it's just, but like I said, they haven't dated it just yet, but it's coming 2019. I think everything that they were showing in the Direct was 2019, including Mario Maker 2, which they kicked off with, and that was interesting because everyone was kind of, there was lots of rumours that this was going to happen. I think there was rumours that a Switch port was going to happen, and more so a Switch port of Mario Maker rather than Mario Maker 2. And of course it brought your favourite brother, not Matt, Luigi.
The best, in fairly, Luigi is the best brother, and I'll go on record saying that.
Yes, that's what Matt has tattooed on his back. It's like, Luigi is the best brother. But yeah, I mean, it's coming with Luigi, it's coming with Super Mario 3D World attributes are coming in to help you kind of make that. There's a whole load just from the trailer. I saw a thread on, I think it was Reddit, where they were just kind of identifying all the brand new stuff that was coming in this, including sliding and parachutes and like I say, lots of 3D Super Mario 3D World.
That's cool, because I was worried when I first saw the news that it was just going to be another Wii U port.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've been fine, but there's only so much you can do or like get excited about. Here we go again. So yeah, I'm still touch and go whether I'm going to get this, because I think I enjoyed making a handful of levels, but I've just bought New Super Mario Bros. Wii U Redux 2 or whatever way they called it when they just reported it, and I feel like I want to play some professional levels.
Yes. And
that sounds really, really down. I'm all for the community endeavour and fun, but I should probably play the custom-made game first before playing the game that allows you to make custom ones. So we'll see. No doubt I'll cave nearer the time, because it's a nice little thing just to poke around on, and I did spend a long time just trying to perfect some very simple levels. Just trying to practice the design lessons that Miyamoto used to preach about introduction, being it safe, and then just being a slow challenge and this building up. And I love coming up with theme ideas like fighting pits or just it's good. It's good. I just don't know whether it's too close to the original for me to get truly excited by this.
Yes, I mean, I never played Super Mario Maker. I never kind of played that because the Wii U for me, I think I only played a handful of games. I think there was like Mario, Super Mario 3D World. It was Mario Kart, so I never really kind of got into the Super Mario Maker. But I'm like you. I kind of feel like I want to dabble just to kind of have it on my hard drive, have it on the like kind of download it digitally and just have it there. So if I'm on a train or a plane or away on holiday, I can just play around with some levels. Did the original kind of take you through a tutorial when you were kind of building it, or was it just here you go, use your imagination?
I honestly can't remember. I think you unlocked the different like sets of tiles.
Right.
So you had to play through either the custom built ones, and as you got through and collected coins or something like that, then you got more. I think, because I think it would be overwhelming if they just dumped the entire tool set on you. So some level of drip feeding to allow you to get used to them, I think is good. Because it's all well and good saying, I want to put this and this and this in all of us, but like build it up. try and get used to the tool set, and then expand it. So yeah, hopefully they do the same this time round, because that was clever.
And what else? What else did they they announced that Bayonetta 3 is coming. There was some that was coming up from it's not Devolver Digital, it's whoever their developer. They were announcing that they announced a new game, and then said
Platinum.
Yeah, Platinum Games. That's it. Well done. And then they said that Bayonetta 3 is coming, which was good, because I think that's what everybody was waiting for. They spent a lot of time on Fire Emblem. There was
I'm looking down the list. They're basically the three that I will acknowledge being good games, but not for me. There's a new Fire Emblem. They spoke about Dragon Quest 11.
That was it.
And then also Dragon Quest Builders 2. So, yeah. If that floats your boat, check out the directs, because I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, at that point I was maybe getting a coffee or something like that. But there was some really good. Like I say, there was some really good stuff, and it felt like I think this is kind of Nintendo's way with these directs, is that there was something for everyone, apart from if you're an Animal Crossing fan. There was something for everyone.
But that just makes me more excited for E3.
Yes.
Like, I've now got in my head that they are saving Animal Crossing / it has slipped and they don't want to tell us yet. But I think they are saving Animal Crossing for E3. And so I really want... You know how they've dressed their booths?
Yes.
The last few years. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Just going like an Animal Crossing, and you just... just little villagers' houses are the demo booths, and just all the lovely trees on the walls that you could shake and get some peaches off of. That's my hope.
Oh wow,
that's my hope.
That's the true reason that why PlayStation are not there this year, because Nintendo have just bought up the entire space. And they're going to turn it into Animal Crossing.
Everyone's going to be there with fishing rods where the PlayStation booth used to be.
Oh my goodness, that would be so awesome. Just to kind of see that, just to kind of have them go live from that booth and kind of see that kind of whole Animal Crossing. And because they never mentioned Luigi's Mansion 3 or this, they gave, like I say, they gave a little bit of time to Yoshi's Crafted World, and then said there was a demo out right then, which I've downloaded and had a play. I'll talk about that in a mo. And then, of course, which we could lead quite nicely into what we've been playing, was Tetris 99. Came out that day, and it was like, this is Tetris. It was a Battle Royale Tetris, and it's available right now.
I love those. Please look under your seat. There's a copy of Tetris because it's free. It's free asterisk. You need a subscription to Nintendo's online service, but as my brother from another mother, Antony, will attest, the family account does stretch far and wide across. So if you are looking for a deal, you can hook 8 accounts up to the same one for a very good price. So it was. I didn't have the chance to play it that night, because that was the night I got back from Wembley at 1:30 a.m. But the next night, powered it up, and it was an awakening, shall we say? Because I have going back to the Game Boy. I have played it ever since Matt got his Game Boy for Christmas, and that came packed in with it. And I love Tetris. There's that just simple elegance of a game system coming together, that you challenge yourself by just trying to do better and better and better. And I had that single player, mindset of like, I'm going to go into this, I'm going to try and create these massive towers just with that slither down one hand side, and then wait for the 1x4 and just drop it, bam, drop it, bam. Except, of course, in competitive Tetris, there are other people around the world sending you lines to screw up your plans. And so I just kept doing myself over. I kept doing myself over by just creating this tower that was my own downfall at that point in time. So it took a while for me to realise that I should not be trying to go for the perfect score. I should be keeping it low, I should be keeping it eager, and I should be ready to react for when people start throwing bricks in my direction. Yeah,
there is nothing more scarier than that left-hand side, when you feel that those bricks kind of popping in from the left-hand side down that little kind of swim lane. You feel...
Yeah, there's like a warning channel, isn't it? There's a warning channel that says how many rows are about to appear at the bottom of your grid.
Yes, and it's just scary. I was playing it last night, and I didn't even have the sound on. I could just feel the rumble and just see it there, and it just starts a panic in me as I'm playing it. And then and the way to combat it and to push it back is to kind of complete some lines, and by completing lines, they kind of then disappear, and then they don't add to your Tetris play area. And just doing that, it's just so much fun. It's one of those games where I was sitting, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, I was sitting and I had Metro and I had Jump Force and Crackdown, and I was just playing Tetris. I was just like, I'm just playing this.
Simple pleasures. Yeah. Simple pleasures. It works.
Yeah, exactly. I was just sitting there like, I'm just going to play this, and I love it. Have you got to number 1 yet?
No. What one of my friends at work has, and I treat her like a deity now. I called it out in our team stand-up, like, please have a round of applause for Resident Vege's number 1 spot. No, I've got top 10 quite a few times.
Right.
I've got 5th a couple of times, but that's my ceiling. Because by that point in time, I think some of it is, obviously there's skill, but there's also a fair amount of luck, as in who is sending you bricks and who you're sending bricks to. Because you can control it manually. There's a massive grid around either side of the your playboard that shows where everyone else is and how well they're doing. And you can manually select where you send those bricks.
Yes.
But doing so at speed, when you're in the top 10, the speed has been cranked right up, you've got bricks coming at you, you're trying to get rid of bricks. It's just too much going on. So I just try and auto-select, like, just send these bricks to my nearest competitor or, like, the person who's going to get KO'd first. Just go. But it's just blinding. The bricks are hitting the floor before you've barely had time to shift it.
Yes.
So I swear there's amount of luck. There's skill and there is luck based in what bricks come out and who you're going there. So, but yeah, I feel like it's doable. I'm just happy to, like, top 10 every now and again.
Yes.
But it's if luck goes against you, I've finished like 89th before. Yeah. Because I was like happy playing along, and then 15 lines just get dumped on me. It's like, what have I done? What did I do to you people?
That was me last night. Because I hadn't played it for a couple of days because we've been playing Crackdown. So I hadn't played it for a couple of days, and I just sat there last night just as I was about to go to bed, and I just laid on bed and I just kind of got the Switch out and started playing. And my first game, I was probably 3 lines in, and then suddenly half the screen just filled up with those silver lights, and I was just and I just thought at one point oh, people have got too good at this now, and this is no longer for me. But then I just kept playing, and then I think the highest I've ever got is 4th. But last night, I think I broke the top 10 once. I think the rest of the time, I'm about level 10, I think, at the moment. So it just kind of shows, because you level up, but it doesn't really mean anything, does it?
No, it's more like this is how many times you've played it metric.
Yes. But it's so much fun. It's
just simple.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. Like, it is simple but elegant. It's a classic design formula that has somehow been translated to Battle Royale.
Yes. Because
they haven't tried to overthink it.
No.
And I think they could have so easily tried to make this ridiculous and overcomplicated. And like when we say it's free, like, it literally is, again, by the subscription, it is free. There's no money you have to pay to remove ads. There's no skins to purchase. There's no, like, add-ons that you can put to your player card that other people can see. It's just, please play Tetris. Yeah. And I hope Nintendo do more of this. This, for me, just seems like a come to our system, please buy our online subscription, and this is the sort of stuff we will do every now and again. Like, it's such a curveball. I can imagine that it actually has drawn... in fact, I know people have paid for the subscription just for this game.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to just go, I want to play that, I want to jump in. I think there was one of the guys from work said exactly the same thing. He was like, I'm really interested, but I know I've got to pay. And then I just kind of broke down the levels, and it was like, oh, I only need to pay £3 and I can get in for a month. And it's so you could then just kind of play Tetris. And I know there's a couple of people at work that are just kind of, oh, I'm interested, but it's that subscription, and it is worth to take a punt, even if it's just for a month, to just have a real play with it and just kind of get in there. It's great fun. It's super.
It was a nice balance as well, because there was that, I'd play for half an hour or so you could get a good 6-7 games in or so if you're doing it. But then the intensity of that was really nicely balanced by Crackdown.
Yes.
Because it was, for me, Crackdown is a nice laid-back experience. The solo sort of campaign is a nice laid-back experience where I think I described it over the weekend like it's just comfortable. It feels like a nice pair of gloves or a warm jumper that you just slip on and you just feel at home with.
Yes.
Because I know this game has been through a certain development period that has been well publicised. But in some ways, I think that's done it good. Not necessarily like for what's actually happened in game, shall we say, but for the period of time it's given us to rest since Crackdown 2. I feel like if this had come out like a few years earlier, like would this really have been the showcase for the Xbox One?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. No. But where we are in the life cycle of the consoles, this is just like a nice friendly addition to the catalogue, and I feel it's time for me to want to go and platform around. I forget what the name of the city is, but like to go around bouncing, collecting orbs, getting my jumps and boosts and skids and double jumps. It's just really nice to go back into an area that's quite familiar and just spend an hour or so just bouncing around, and then going back to Tetris, getting stressed out, and then coming back to this nice chill out area. Because did you play Crackdown 1 and 2?
I did, yes. Both. Yeah, Nicola and I have played like both of those, like co-op to all of those.
Yep.
You know, I think one kind of kept you tethered to each other. You couldn't stray too far. It would then rubber band you. And then 2 was that was the introduction of the Xbox Live Orbs that were around. So I remember us just kind of having fun there. And then there was only orbs that appeared if you were playing with someone across Xbox Live.
Yes.
So there was things like that. So so Nicola and I were I jumped in quickly on after I played a bit of Tetris on Friday. Jumped in on Friday, much to Nicola's disgust because she wanted to kind of start a game afresh. But we did that on Sunday, and that was our game on Sunday. We were just like playing that on Sunday. I made a shepherd's pie, and then just something quick that it didn't kind of interfere with gaming. You know, it's just something we could eat after we played Crackdown for hours, and we just sat there playing Crackdown, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, the same as you. The only thing I would say is that there's a bit of collision detection at the moment where you go to jump up a building, and maybe if you don't time it right, your character just kind of bounces off rather than just kind of climbing. And I don't think that was in the other games. I just kind of feel that, but it might just be me jumping too early or too late. I honestly haven't experienced that, but they do try and have this bit where your agent tries to scramble up the wall. Yes.
So I don't know whether it's trying to kick into that too soon. But I know what you mean. There are a few, because Crackdown is basically a giant city, and you're some sort of super agent that can jump and bounce around, and it's just like a giant platforming. And a lot of the towers and the buildings around seem to have ledges,
yes.
You know, be it windowsills or ridges or girders or something like that. I have found a certain inconsistency with what lines appear to be grabbable or not.
Yeah, you test it, don't you? You just test to go, can I do that? There's an orb up there. Can I do that? Can I go and get
can
that?
I slide off this one? There's a certain inconsistency there, but I know it doesn't... It's occasionally a bit clunky. Like in turning around. There's a good few times that I've just tried to land on a small platform from afar and just automatically try to jump again just because I don't feel like I'm solidly stuck on it.
Yes. But I do feel that maybe after, like, because we've been playing it for like 4, 5, 6 hours, you know, and I think after that amount of time, like last night's gameplay when we played for a couple of hours last night, and that was just so much fun. You know, there was an area that was very chemical based, and I think there was an enemy called Khan, and we were basically just antagonizing him and his area. You know, we were just kind of playing, and then the more we were taking him down, the more we were getting kind of close to that 100%. The more intense all of the enemy was, the AI was, it was coming after us. So rather than just kind of leisurely going around an area taking them out, it was constant, you know, and it was, and not helped by the fact that I would turn around and Nicola, my teammate, was just off bouncing at the top of a building going, orbs! Beautiful, beautiful orbs! It was just like, all you can hear, because what we do when we're playing together is I don't have the other TV sound up, so we just have this sound from the surround sound in the room, so it's coming from one. So I can't really hear me shooting. All I can hear is the orb sound happening. So I'm like, you're not... Ding! And it's just like, I'm like, you're not in this fight, are you? And Nick's like, what? And then she throws a couple of grenades in just for good measure. But that was so much fun. So we just decided just to take an area, and then it was lots of chemical factories and things like that. And we just decided just to take out that area and just concentrate on that area. And we had such a blast. We got some upgraded weapons, got some achievements, and it's really interesting because I've listened to a lot of podcasts over the weekend while I was cooking or doing whatever I was doing, and a lot of people are saying that it doesn't look that good. But on an Xbox One X and on a 4K TV with HDR, once you turn HDR on, and we'll get to that in a moment, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks great.
I think fantastic is stretching.
No, it does.
I think
there's certain lights when you just kind of... There's moments.
If you put neon HDR signs in it, it's like, yeah, it looks good. But I always stand by what I said. Like, the first area that you boot up in, it looked bad.
Yes.
Like, I don't think the art style of where you start helps it at all.
Right.
Because it's quite a rundown, slimy area. Mm-hmm. And I'm there going like, is this Xbox One game? And that sounds really bitchy. Like, you're right, it does get better. Like, when you enter the main cityscape, when you see the colours and when you see everything kick in,
yes,
it looks lovely. Like, the draw distance is huge. Like, you see the entire city. There's no problems with that. So they've obviously gone for scale over fidelity. But that opening area, I don't think does the game any justice at all, because it is just murky.
Yes. And you know, like I say, that draw distance is incredible, because you can stand on the top of a building and you can see an orb in the far distance. You can see that green trail, and you know that you're going to get there eventually. But I just feel that area that we're in, Khan's area, with the green from all of the toxic, and as you're saying, the neon signs and things like that, and the big explosions that are happening, it looks fantastic. You know, before I came up to pod, Nicola's playing it, because she's just like, I'm not going to... She goes, you're off podding. I want to go and collect orbs. So I was like, fine, do what you need to do.
Just make sure my account's on here for the achievements as well. Yes.
Yeah, can you just put me over in the corner snoring? But just I stood quite close to the TV just as I was about to come up, and I thought it looked fantastic. I just was like, okay, it's not as nice as Metro. You know, I'm playing Metro, and that's kind of a murky, awesome 4K-ness. It's not as nice as Forza, but it just has that. I love cell shading. I'm a bit of a sucker for cell shading. You know, this looks like Borderlands, you know, and this is kind of... this is what I want from Borderlands 3. You know, I want maybe a little bit more graphical oomph, but this is what I want from that. I love that kind of aesthetic. But I was just surprised. A lot of people were saying it looks like a 360 game and things like that, and I just was kind of feeling it was a little bit harsh, because this game, as you said, it's a comfortable game, it's a fun game to play, and I just feel that, and being on Xbox Game Pass, I think it really helps it, because you're going to take a punt, because it's quote-unquote free, and then when you do that, you realise how much fun you're having. And I haven't even tried Wrecking Zone or Wrecking Ball or whatever it is yet. I haven't even tried that.
Right, there's a few things I want to tick off here, so I'm going to scatter around, but I completely agree with the Game Pass thing.
Yes.
Especially with the mixed reviews it's getting. I think this is the perfect game for Game Pass. Like, I don't necessarily think that this could stand alone, like, and make great guns, because I know it didn't enter the UK top 10 from the reports I saw yesterday and today. But for a Game Pass game, this is the kind of game that I actually want on Game Pass. This is the kind of game that I'd be willing to take a punt at. I guess it's like the Xbox Live Gold, games with gold ones. The ones that I wouldn't necessarily drop 60 quid on, but I want to see what it's like. And actually, when you play it, it actually is superb fun. Yeah. So, like, yeah, you've won me over. Maybe the headline, like, upfront cost is not there, but I will play you on a subscription service. But yeah, the more I play it, now skipping over to the combat part of things, the combat I found tough to begin with. Like, the gunplay there's an auto lock mechanic, and it was all right. Yeah. And the punching was all right to begin with. But the orbs that you generate through shooting and punching then slowly start to unlock more abilities. And I was actually really impressed and happy that it extended the experience, because you soon unlock with the guns the ability to target, you know, head, limbs, body, feet, that sort of things. And then with punches, you unlock a ground pound, and you unlock a sonic punch. And with every... I guess it encourages you to push on, to push forward. And with every new skill that I got, it just made every aspect just juicier. Yeah. I can't think of a nicer, just juicier. Like, I enjoyed the jumping around, and as you jump around, you unlock a double jump. Then you unlock like a skid, like, as you fly through the air, just a boost forward. Then you unlock effectively a triple jump and a double jet, and it means that you can just glide around the sky. And you feel like a powerful entity. I guess like Sunset Overdrive. When you were sliding around the rails, you just felt you were mastering the environment and just outmaneuvering the bads in there. And here that again, you can just jump and fly and scatter over enemies, like shooting off rockets mid-lump, or then just pounding down onto the ground to just disrupt a whole group of enemies. And it just meant that I went from going like, oh, I've just got to go and take down this fort, to go, I'm going to take down. You just walk in.
Yes.
You walk. I've got a guided missile launcher that then just as a bloom of secondary bullets. I've got a gun that can target headshots and set people on fire. There's some sort of like void grenade that I've now got that can suck people into a vortex, and
wow.
it's just ridiculous. Like, occasionally I find games that I just want to stick to a couple of moves and use it. But I am enjoying just like going to mess people up. I'm going to punch these people and I'm going to shoot them over there. Then I'm going to jump up in the air and grab a car. You can grab a car and just throw cars at people now. It is stupid fun.
Yes.
Like, this isn't in-depth. This isn't like a Devil May Cry combo system, but I am finding a lot of pleasure in just wading in and just battering things and then throwing the corpses of other things. It's just silly. It's just silly, and I do enjoy it. It's just a Moorish, simple pleasure that just keeps on giving right now. I mean, I'm waxing lyrical. I would still not score this game more than it's like a 7 or 8 or something like
yes.
that. But it is simple pleasures that I could just happily sit back on a sofa and just keep on going.
Yeah, it's not going to make a Game of the Year list, but it's just for fun. You know, it is just fun. And if I remember back to the original Crackdown, you know, most of us bought the original Crackdown because it came with a beta for Halo, or for a demo for Halo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
friend of the show, Matt, was still trying to unlock that the other day by the sound of things. So.
you know, and that was it. You know, it's just, that's why we bought it. But it just, again, it kind of hooked us on the fun. And then obviously 2 was almost a reimagining of 1, wasn't it? It was just kind of, it was very same, it was very similar.
I think that's generous. Yes.
And then the one thing that we haven't got yet, and I don't think it's a spoiler, but what used to happen, I think in maybe 2 or in 1, was at night time, a whole load of kind of like zombies, creatures would kind of come running at you.
That.
And I haven't come across that yet.
That was the 2 mod, yeah.
And I just haven't come across that at the moment, and I was just... But one of the things I will say, and I did kind of allude to it earlier on, is if you're playing Crackdown right now and you're looking at it with your 4K TV and maybe Xbox One X or S, and you're looking at it and thinks it looks a bit odd, it's because the HDR is off by default.
Oh, it just... And you can't turn it on in-game.
No, you have to
go back to the menu to turn it on, because the first thing I did was like, that sun doesn't look... Those signs don't look bright enough. What's going on? Oh, there's no options. It must just not have it. Yeah. So.
I was like, you know, when you have a look on those videos and a puppy is kind of, the head is tilting because someone's making a noise. That was me on Friday night, looking at the screen going, there's no HDR there. Something's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And what it is in the display, there is HDR on or off that you have to then turn on or off. And I was perplexed. But I must say, you know, I'm switching between the 4K HDR TV to my 1080p TV, both on the Xbox One X's, and even on the 1080p with the power of the X, it's looking pretty cool. It looks a little bit dark at night. I had to turn up the brightness of the TV, but that may be because my settings has got HDR turned on and it's brought my settings over, and then there's no way for the TV to render HDR. I'm not sure what's happening there, but apart from that, it looks great. You know, I'm just really enjoying it, and I can't wait to play some more. You know, Nicola and I are already kind of talking about our weekend. We've got a couple of chores that we need to do at the weekend, and then after that, it's like, right, okay, when are we going to be playing Crackdown? You know, when are we going to kind of like organise our Crackdown kind of playtime? You know, so I love it. It's really good. I think I said on our WhatsApp group, it's exactly what I want right now. You know, and I'm playing some other games, but this is exactly kind of the game that I want to play right now.
Yeah. It's just lovely, and it made me forget that there was a lot of other things out this week that I just pushed to one side. But I did play Wrecking Zone briefly.
Oh, right.
I played one game of it. You know how I used the word simple in a good way earlier?
Yes.
This one, no. I played one round of, I think it was like Agent Hunter, and it was quite simple.
Right.
And it was just like it was just a very basic version of just go and kill the other team.
Right.
And I got equipped with like I got worried when one of my starting weapons was the homing missile.
Right.
And yeah, I think that just sort of something like it felt like it's not necessarily built for agent on agent fighting, so we're going to have to give you these long range weapons, and you've got the auto lock.
Yes.
And it was a big playground, and the whole thing was like touted before launch for the like destructible scenery, wasn't it? Like the whole thing, and yeah, things were collapsing. Mm-hmm. Things were collapsing as they went, but there was just no hook.
Right.
Like it didn't felt it didn't feel tight enough. Like we've spoken about the controls earlier, they're not tight enough to get an exhilarating PvP experience for me. And it's like, yeah, it's there, but I can't see it having a long lifespan. I was hoping that this Wrecking Zone would be more like a go and like even a wave-based thing. I can imagine like a wave-based Crackdown being really cool with, again, the destructible scenery, as you say, like you, me, Nicola, just like pounding the enemies and just getting them to give up their strongholds. That'd be cool. But it just seems like they've gone back to like the Xbox 360 period. Just slap a multiplayer on it. And I'm honestly, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with it.
And quite interestingly, it comes as its own executable as well. There was two.
Yeah.
So it's not even in game. They're kind of two very separate games, and they have their own achievements as well. So which is very bizarre. Which was really quite bizarre when kind of like Crackdown downloaded on Friday. It just downloaded 2 items. It was the Wrecking Zone and then the campaign, which I just thought there's obviously a reason, and maybe at some point they'll merge them together. But I doubt it. They'll just probably just keep doing this. But I was hoping that maybe the Wrecking Zone would be good for like a Friday night giggle, get a whole load of people together, fill the room. How many people can you have in each kind of session? 16?
Well, I saw 5 on 5,
right.
But I don't know whether that just like the timer timed out and we just capped at that. But
that would be really interesting to kind of just kind of feel that, have everyone in the same party so you can hear all the swears and and just kind of like to just collapse buildings on mats, which is that would be fun anyway. just topple something on Stew. That would just be a Friday night well earned. But yeah, I like I say, overall, I'm sure it's going to keep you going for another couple of weeks. But I'm quite enjoying Crackdown 3.
Yeah, the single player campaign is moreish, and I will happily. I accidentally found myself it's got a touch of the open world Zelda to it, where I think you can go up the main tower in the center and try and defeat the baddie straight away.
Wow, really?
I think because I accidentally found myself up there due to reasons. Like when I wasn't max power, and then things were just exploding, and things were going quite badly for me. But it's so I get the feeling you can destroy as many baddies as you want, like the mini bosses, and it makes your pursuit up the center easier or harder depending on how you want to do it. So yeah, but yeah, I think I'm basically going to rinse the outside, like try and get as many objectives as possible, and then tackle the center.
Yes.
But, yeah.
That's what, like I say, that's what we're doing. We're just kind of working our way round, and it was almost when you finish one area, you'll notice that there's like a red house icon, and by going to there, that kind of activates the next area, and that's what we were doing last night, and just kind of going round. And I think, like I say, before I came up to Pod, Nicola had just activated another area. So, I mean, even though we're in the same game, I have my own save as well. So we're doing co-op game, but then I've loaded my save. So I'm not sure what's going to happen now that Nicola's kind of gone forward, what's going to happen with our worlds, because there's going to be some things. So it'll be I might see if I can take a copy of my world before I kind of jump into another co-op one, just to make sure that I've still got all of those orbs that I need to collect.
Copy it, back it up and drag it to another directory.
Yes, I'll just put it onto the desktop. That's all I need to do. But it was but like I say, I'm really loving it. So what else have you been playing, James?
To be honest, that's been it. Been back on the seas with a few folks, but yeah, it's basically just been Tetris and Crackdown this weekend, so intense. But I did happen to see while I was logged on and checking who was around for some Crackdown or Thieves action that you have gone anime on us.
Well, actually, that was my nephew, because while we were
it was my nephew.
Yeah, in air quotes.
It was my nephew.
So my nephew Ed was over on Saturday.
Who is this Goku?
Yes.
Could you tell who's this Goku?
Who is Piccolo? Who is why? So Ed was over. Ed likes he does enjoy fighting games. He kind of does enjoy. So I said to him, have you heard of a game called Jump Force? And he was like, no, I haven't heard. I said, come with me. I got it from Boomerang. So it was one of my ones from. So Boomerang on Friday dispatched out to me Metro Exodus and also Jump Force. So I got kind of 2 brand new titles. I felt guilty because I feel like I should send Metro back, because I'm sure there's someone that maybe never got it. on that day. But so I was like, come down here, I'll show you something. So we spent ages. So while I think we just had dinner, so everyone was still just kind of chatting at the dinner table and things like that. Oh, and I must get onto what we had for dinner in just a moment. So we were like chatting, and so we were like,
what have you been playing, not what you've been eating?
I know. So we went down, but this is just awesome. So we went down to the movie room, and like, so Ed and I just spent some time, because it really does. It takes you through so many cutscenes. So I got him started. I went back upstairs, made sure people had wine and everything. And I went downstairs, and he was still going through cutscenes. So we got to the point where we were then building our own character. So we went through and we made Ed the Awesome, which was our character, and we just messed this character up. It had strange eyes, one eye was black, and then you get to go through it, and we were just having like so much fun. And then just sitting there and just kind of watching Ed kind of play, and he was kind of fighting with Goku, he was fighting with Piccolo, and he was explaining some of them to me, and it was just so much fun. But this game is bonkers. It is proper bonkers. It was just so much so that kind of I woke up on Sunday, and before we kind of started our Crackdown day, I just started playing it. I kind of picked up from Ed's save, and then just started playing this game, not knowing what I was doing. But some of the moves and the playing field, and just kind of running around these rather big areas, doing lots of anime kind of attacks on my character, and it was just, I'm definitely going to keep it for a little bit longer, because I really kind of want to just kind of like just have a mess around just a little bit more. But it was bonkers. You do kind of like Ed the Awesome, this character that we created, is always there in the cutscenes, just hanging far enough back to be a interchangeable character, but just kind of so you've got Goku and Piccolo and all of that, they're all kind of talking, and then in the back is like kind of this one character almost waving, going, don't forget me. But it's just it's bonkers and fun. I do like every now and then to just jump into a beat 'em up that is a little bit crazy like this, and this definitely ticks all the boxes. But yeah, it was just really good. So I'm going to play a lot more.
Cool. I think 'cause my previous experience was at Eurogamer or EGX last year, when I just played as some sort of pirate, with a big flappy mouth, and I can't really remember more than that, to be honest. So.
And he had those big eyes as well, didn't he? He had those like really yes. I believe a character very similar to that, I'm not sure which one that is, has just appeared with like a scar underneath his eyes, really big eyes and very small pupils that just really kind of scare you. But I love it. I'm sure there's lots of people kind of getting crazy over this game because there just seems to be so many characters, but it's just great fun. And Ed seemed to.
Is it basically the Smash Brothers of anime? Is this what you consider? As you know, two educated followers of anime, is this our opinion of it?
Absolutely. I think there's about 51 characters in this game, so I would definitely say it's anime Smash.
Fair dues.
There you go. And then I've also
alienated so many of my friends with two different words.
That'll be the title of this pod: Anime Smash. No one will listen. People will be like, I'm not listening. But yeah, I mean, so I've been playing that, and also Naruto looks awesome. It looks fantastic. It looks really good, and that was the one that I'm kind of. I want to be able to play as those, and not just as the character that we've created. I want to be able to play. I want to do like a Smash and be able to kind of grab. And I'm sure there's a mode in there that I can jump in and play.
Yeah.
Cool. But then also I've been playing Defense Grid. So Defense Grid 2 came out on the Switch.
You were very excited about this before it hit.
So excited. This was a big one for the Chesson household. We like our tower defense games in this house, and Defense Grid has always been the original Defense Grid was on the Xbox 360, and I think Defense Grid 2 may have been on Xbox One, but we played a hell of a lot of it, and Nicola absolutely loves it. So we kind of just sat there. We sat there on the day it came out. I took it into London. I think it came out on the Friday. I took it into London on the Switch, and just my commute just disappeared. So I got on at Tunbridge Wells, I get off at London Bridge, I'm sitting there, had a podcast, and I was playing Defense Grid, and before I knew it, I could just hear through my my headphones that we're at London Bridge, and I was like, what? There was like, because no one came and sat next to me, not because I was like excitedly clicking around, because it's so early, there's no one on the train, so I had none of that kind of like stepping away or kind of moving out of the way or moving across from my seat. So I just suddenly, before I knew it, I was at London Bridge, and an hour had just dissolved with this game, and I kind of managed to, I think I went through about 4 or 5 maps, and it's great because I've now got to the point where it's getting a little bit, not annoying, it's challenging, it's tricky, where the first ones were, I can put down a lot of towers, I can redirect them to where I need them to go, but now it really is kind of, there's lots of restarts happening, lots of swearing at the screen, and just or asking Nicola what I need to do. It's like, what am I doing wrong? But it's very good, and it runs really well on the Switch. It looks really good in handheld mode. You can rotate the map completely with the right stick. A push up on the right stick just takes it, zooms in. So if you do want to zoom in, I'm just zooming in just one level in, and that's giving me a really nice playing field. That's giving me kind of like a really nice view of what I'm playing. And so I'm just really enjoying it. They've done a really good job. And this was unexpected because this just suddenly came out on like a Tuesday announcement that in a couple of weeks' time, Defense Grid is coming out.
So when you say it's a nice surprise, was it a very much a case of just like, here it is, we didn't even know it was in development? Or
yes.
Had it okay.
Yeah. I mean, I followed the Defense Grid Twitter. They were actually over a couple of weeks. They kept saying something new was coming. So I just thought maybe this would be Defense Grid 3. I thought this was going to be Defense Grid 3, Xbox One X, looking all shiny and lovely. And then they kind of said, we've got something to announce tomorrow. And then that something was Defense Grid 2 for the Switch.
Sweet.
And then 2 weeks later, it came out. It was $19.99 for the game. So I just kind of downloaded it for Nicola, downloaded it for me, and then we were like good to go. And we're saying that now we want a holiday. It's like, okay, right, now we want to go away somewhere. We want to get on a plane or go somewhere for just a weekend so we can just play, that on our Switch. We're kind of like
just go away somewhere, or just hide in the bedroom at that point in time with 2 charges and away you go. So.
Go on a train. I mean, we went into London for my birthday last Tuesday, and we just took our Switches into London. So we just we didn't talk to each other on the train there or back, because we were just playing Defense Grid, so we weren't playing against each other, and Nicola would never allow me in her world doing any of that, so I'd just be in the corner just with one turret, but it was just it's really good, because like I say, one of the things I really like about Defense Grid is that there are some maps where it's just, here you go, here's a 10 by 10, 15 by 15 square, and the enemies are going to make their path all the way across. So what you can do is you can actually build towers in a zigzag fashion to make them go down what we call the alleyway of pain, and then really make them go through that alleyway of pain and really take them out. And it's great fun. And then even that has orbs as well, because you've got the enemy are trying to take your orbs from your tower and then get the hell out of there, so you have that kind of strategy of keeping your orbs going. So it's all orbs in the Chesson household right now.
Orbs all the way down. I like it.
Orbs all the way down. And then the last game that I played, which I said was the demo, so at the same time as the Nintendo Direct, they released a demo, 1-level demo of Yoshi's Crafted World, and wow, is that adorable. That is just...
It looks cute as hell.
It's so good. You finish the first level, and then it says, do you want to go back now? And now you've got to find 5 cows. And then you'll notice, in the background, there's these cardboard cutout of cows that you then just have to throw an egg at, and then collect those. So you're almost replaying the level, but now you've got to find these cows that are hidden, and they might be hidden behind a piece of grass. So the grass is obviously a piece of cardboard. So you throw it at that goes down, and there's the cow. And you can see it from both sides as well. You have the ability of playing a level one side, like the good side, or you can see the behind and all the inside all the cardboard boxes, and it's just so good. It plays so well. They got an instant pre-order from me after playing that. As soon as I got home, I was just like, I want this game.
So I take it from what you said about the Wii U that you didn't play the original Yoshi's Woolly World?
Absolutely, yeah. I got the amiibo, but I never played the game.
It was really sweet. So when we moved house probably 3 years ago, and it was about the time that the last Yoshi's Woolly World came out, and Ali had already arranged to go out with some friends on the Saturday after we moved house, so I pretty much spent the entire day just unboxing stuff and setting it out on shelves and what have you. And as a thank you, I got a giant Yoshi knitted yarn amiibo, which I was very happy with. So I have fond memories of that. But yeah, I haven't played the demo because we've already pre-ordered it. We had such a blast playing the first one in co-op.
Yes.
So this one was just an instant pre-order as soon as it arrived. But I mean, I don't often pre-order much, especially digitally, given the way it's you can't really get your money back. But this one was like, yeah, there's no way we're not going to play this. So downloaded it was.
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, once I played that demo, as soon as I got home, I was just like, yes, I want this, and I'll probably download it for Nicola as well, because I think it's a game that she'll probably want to play, on her own as well, and go through the levels. So, and that's the only kind of downside. Well, obviously, you just have to pay for 2 copies. We're kind of sharing having 2 Switches. Whereas when we're playing on Xbox right now, because Nicola's signed into my account, I only have to buy like Crackdown once. So I only have to buy a game once.
I thought Yoshi was only co-op on one screen.
No, but we won't co-op. Oh, God, James, I won't co-op. Nicola won't allow me in her world. Have you not met Nicola? She will not.
I thought she'd let you. I thought she'd tolerate you.
No, she doesn't tolerate me in Lego games. In Overcooked is even the did you play the actually we haven't got it on the list, but have you played the new levels of Overcooked, the Chinese New Year levels? With the wok.
I don't know if we did.
With the wok.
I'm having a waiver over Overcooked.
They have a wok.
What do they have?
There's a wok mechanic.
When cousin Nick came to visit a few weeks back, we all played we played 4-player Overcooked then with Nick's of the Half Sarah, and there was a point throughout the evening where I think both me and Sarah had that point going like, this is now more stressful than fun.
Yes.
And
welcome to my world.
Yeah, and I just had that resounding that was the last memory I had of Overcooked, and up until now I've always been able to balance out going like, no, it's a good achievement to actually finish these levels, but they dropped the wok about less than a week later, and it's like, no, I need some space. I don't want to add this to my life right now. I've got Tetris to stress me out, so I don't need a wok as well. So yeah, I haven't. But did you enjoy it? Did Nicola enjoy it?
I did. What we did. We now have a kind of a staple now is that we went through getting 3 stars, so we can't move off the level until we have 3 stars.
Sensible.
So we went through that, and then the moment you unlock the last level and do 3 stars, it then unlocks a 4th star. At that point, that's when I sign out, and I keep our marriage intact, and I sign out, and then Nicola does the 4th star on her own. And then she swears a lot, but then completes it. So that's kind of what we did. And I must admit, what we got through all of them in one sitting. So there were 7 levels. It was really nice because you go into a new hub world now. You go through a door, through a portal, and it takes you to a hub world. And then you go through another portal, which was kind of like Chinese New Year themed. And then you go into there, and then there was the 7 levels. So if this is a taste of things to come for Overcooked 2 or 3, I really like it that they have these seasonal additions every now and then. This is something for us just to there was no achievements, unfortunately, but it was quite nice just to kind of jump back in. Apart from the wok, which was amazing, because you have a wok over a fire, and then you have to move every now and then. That fire will go out, so you have to move your wok to the other fire. So each woks have 2 fires, so it's not only do you have to make sure it doesn't burn, halfway through it'll stop cooking, so you have to make sure you move your wok to the other fire, and that's just great fun. That was a really nice mechanic. And in a couple of the kitchens, you suddenly had this dragon that would then appear and then just push your character out of the way. What? Yes, so it just kind of goes around one of them. Nicola was in the middle, chopping, and I had to give her all the ingredients. And every now and then, these 2 dragons, like kind of the paper dragons, a bit like that big dragon
okay.
like
I thought it got all Witcher.
No. Like the Chinese dragons. They're kind of like the one that was in Fantastic Beasts 2. That was kind of then. That was
we'll
kind
get
of,
to that.
And then that was kind of like going around the edge, so you can't get there. There's just a tiny gap, so that kind of made a little bit of stress, and we had to replay that level a couple of times. But it was great fun. It was really cool. I really liked that. Just kind of, here you go, here's a level, play it.
At some point we will jump in, but Yeah. It's I need that space.
Yes.
I need that space.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, the great thing about that is it's not going anywhere, is it? You know, it's there. You know, it's not like it's a timed exclusive and it's going to disappear after the Chinese New Year. You know, you now have, when you feel like a bit of Overcooked, that's there waiting for it.
Yeah, something new to dig into. But we when Nick was over, we did try and do 4 stars on just World 1-1.
Oh, right.
How?
Flipping the fish.
How?
Flipping the fish.
We tried so many tactics. Like, okay, like you chop and throw onto the plate. It's like, okay, no, we'll just make 1 billion. Okay, the timer doesn't start until we deliver the first item. So just to make 1 billion of these items and then just pick them off. It's just ridiculous. Like, Nicola is some sort of just goddess when it comes to controllers. It's just insane. Insane.
The amount of clicking, and if I have talked to her or look at her or even walk in front of the screen, I am dead. You know, it's just like, I've at once in the movie room been on my belly crawling like a sniper in the wilds just because I needed to go to the toilet. I'm just trying to snipe her out of the house. But yeah, though she loves it. And it's really, we have a pattern. There's a pattern of she'll play the level, go, how the hell can I do this? And then there'll be lots of swearing, and then she was like, damn developers, and then she'll do it, and then she'll unlock it, go, oh, that was easy, and then she'll just go on to the next one, and then just rinse and repeat for that. And it's hilarious. It really is. And I am in awe because I would never be able to do that. So that's it. That's what I've been playing. There's been so many games. It's really nice. It's like I say, I haven't even got to Metro yet. So
yeah, Metro. A few friends have been playing the Far Cry half sequel as well.
Yeah, Stu's playing that.
So
I saw the last couple of days Stuart's been playing that. So maybe he'll be on the pod next week and have a chat about that, because that'll be quite interesting. I'm quite interested to see what that world looks like.
Pink.
Yes.
Is what I hear.
Yeah.
Pink.
It's the neon that the Crackdown has. This is it. You know.
Hopefully they have HDR turned on from the start.
Yes.
But yeah.
So it's nice and neon. So that's kind of all we've been playing. I do have to say, talking about Overcooked, I do have to say that over the weekend, I was just talking about kind of cooking. Over the weekend, I did send you guys a picture. I think I put it on my Twitter as well.
They were ridiculous.
They were amazing. So my brother-in-law Brad and I, we've always had the thing that we wanted tomahawk steaks. And tomahawk steaks are those big steaks that come with a ginormous bone. It's about 900 grams with the bone of steak.
Like, I don't think we should just say bone. Like, people have told me tomahawk steaks before, and like, okay, so you got a bit of a bone. I can understand that, but no, this isn't just a bone. This is a handle. Like this is just like something you can swing around and just brain people with. This was like a good couple of feet of bone on the end of it. It was insane.
It was. I could just about get it in my freezer and just about get it in my fridge, and then, but I did have to hacksaw half the bone off to just get it into the frying pan. Because obviously I had to do some searing first, you know, to kind of get a bit of colour, and then it went in the oven, and it was just amazing. So it's something that we've always wanted to do, and because it was my birthday, I just said, like, can you guys, like, we'll just indulge ourselves, and we'll just kind of come over, I'll do all the cooking, you know, and like, Brad was there kind of helping me kind of like how we should cook it. So we were just really kind of like nerding out over these steaks and just kind of how we should cook it. It was really funny because like we had one each of these tomahawk steaks, and everybody else, so Nicola, my sister-in-law and my nephews, they all had these little fillet steaks. And when you have these little fillet steaks where we could barely fit 2 of these tomahawks into a pan, you could easily fit these 4 fillet steaks into, you know, and it was like, here's your dinner and then here's my dinner, and it was just but they were amazing, you know. I did get the meat sweats at the end of it, but it was just so good. It was just so good. I want to do it again. Like once we did that, we were just salivating about kind of barbecue, you know, in the summer, how good that would be, just kind of like rotating that on the barbecue with the big handle as well, because you could just use that to turn, you know. It was just so lovely. They were just so juicy.
I mean what I can't quite marry up here is, like, apparently you've just got really good taste, and yet you come out with something about liking the Crimes of Grindelwald movie. It's
what I said in my defence.
You put this propaganda on Twitter that the Crimes of Grindelwald was a good movie. In the same sort of...
I said it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Now, bear in mind, I never even went to the cinema to see this. You know, this is that's
a damning indictment in the chest.
Exactly. We couldn't even be bothered to go to Blue Water. So it was an Apple TV thing. We just kind of downloaded it and watched it on Sunday. So we watched it on Sunday after Crackdown. We kind of of just played a bit of that. And what I liked about it was, that big dragon thing was amazing, but also I like the hooks back into the Harry Potter world. I love it. There was a Scottish teacher. I was like, please let that be Professor McGonagall, and it was.
I'm gonna let you get your bit out of the way because I feel I just need to jump in at every moment and just scream no at you. But carry on.
I just love it. I mean, there was that one bit where you kind of saw Hogwarts for the first time in these movies, and they played the theme tune, and I got goosebumps. It shows that I want more in that world than I do in this weird wizarding world that we have. But just seeing those things and Dumbledore, I even Jude Law was even a decent Dumbledore.
Jude Law was probably the best, one of the best things about this movie.
Yes.
I thought he portrayed Dumbledore in a fantastic way.
Yes,
because I think so. I've always thought Jude Law in a certain character, and I guess over the last 5 years he's reached that maturity in years that means he's had to transition to more character roles rather than like the suave. So yeah, I thought he embodied Dumbledore supremely well, and I was really happy with how it came over. But the whole movie was just fluff. Like the entire movie, bar like the last 15 minutes, didn't need to exist. The best part, and I agree. Like the dragon bit at the end was like, yeah, fine. But the bit before that, where you actually saw what the power of Grindelwald was, where you actually saw him like just conjuring up support in his followers, that you realise it was the cult of personality. Like he wasn't like a warmonger, he wasn't some sort of leader promising the earth, but he had this just allure to him that drew people towards him of promises of a better life. And it wasn't through power or struggle, but just through words. And that for me was possibly worth the movie in itself. But everything else bar Jude Law's performance was just bad. It was like It was a fan fiction. It was like, we can squeeze more Harry Potter references in. Here's something about this family. Here's something about this family. Did you know McGonagall was a teacher? Yes, I knew McGonagall was a teacher, and I swear she wasn't at the school at that point in time, so why are you putting her in the movie now when she doesn't need to be there?
But I mean...
she doesn't need to be there!
We don't know if she wasn't a teacher back then. Her and Dumbledore go way back. I think the one thing that I did like was the Lestrange tie. The Lestrange tie was just basically... was a stretch too far. There was the whole kind of Lestrange family.
That was just a tale that did not need to be told, because it was not even relevant in that arc, let alone the rest of the story.
Absolutely. And like I say, but I sat there and I watched it on a Sunday, and just came away with, that was good. I'll give it a couple of stars on Letterboxd. I'm glad I didn't go to the cinema, because I would have been deeply disappointed. But it was just those Harry Potter references. I'm a sucker for that. You know that. I'm a kind of, whenever we're watching a Marvel movie or there's a DC movie or I'm watching Flash and they mention Gotham, I go giddy. Giddy with like that. So actually kind of seeing Dumbledore, McGonagall, I wanted some of those kids to be someone of note. When there was a chap who no one really kind of said who he was, and he said that he was going to go after Grindelwald, I was hoping that was Mad-Eyed Moody, and I was just like hoping, I'm just like, oh, he speaks with a bit of an accent, maybe it's Donald Gleason, and it's just, so I just wanted to kind of like build that reference in, and I think that's what was missing. The first one was quite dire. The first one, they called them no-mages. At least this time they called them muggles. There was one bit that was very French, was muggles. I was just like, yes, you're using the proper terminology.
Muggles.
And it was an improvement over the first one. This isn't going to set worlds alight. It's not going to have a new theme park based on this franchise. But, I would just love them just to go back to Hogwarts and do some stuff there.
It's weird, because I actually really enjoyed the first Fantastic Beasts movie because it stood alone. Because I guess it's I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I really liked Rogue One for how it stood alone without feeling the need to reference X, Y, and Z. And yeah, the bit at the end where it tried to loop it all in, that's fine. but it just had this quality where had the strength of its story on its own that happened to loop in with the rest of the universe. But it didn't need, like, you know, Leia's lost sister or, you know, like Han's, like, third cousin twice removed to make it a movie. It was quality because it stood by what it was and not what it referenced.
Yes.
And I think this second movie just was just a bridge. And it also angered me that they were just making... In the same way that Halo started pulling apart when they started rewriting their own fiction, this started taking the Potterverse and started twisting it in certain ways that I was not happy with.
Yes.
So we'll see what maybe like 3, 4 and 5 will be a standalone trilogy of its own, and this is the bridge to get there. Solo movie, bridge movie, trilogy.
Yes.
And I will accept that.
Yes.
But I still just cringe when every time I still have issues with Johnny Depp being involved in this project.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there, because just even at the start when he's there, I just every ounce of it. I remember the audible groan when when Colin Farrell turned into Johnny Depp in the cinema. You know, there was an audible groan. It was, oh no, you know, and that wasn't just from me or Nicola. That was from the cinema. That was like, oh my, you know, and it was something that people didn't really know about. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just do not like him playing those characters. You know, there's just something about kind of him. He was great in Willy Wonka. I thought he was awesome. But there's just something when he just kind of appeared, it was just like, oh, you know, and Nicola's she's not a very big fan of Jude Law either, but she enjoyed him as Dumbledore, you know, and just kind of, so... He had that little glint in his eye, you know, that Dumbledore has, you know, he has that little kind of, so I just like that. But, you know, I'll be interested to see where they're going next. You know, it was just, obviously they left it on a bit of a cliffhanger. It's all ready to kind of go. As you say, I believe J.K. Rowling has gone on record to say that there is going to be, I think, another 3, isn't it? Another kind of 3 or 4? Yeah.
I think they said at the start there's basically a 5-story arc this time round, so.
But I don't know about you, but I would just absolutely love... Like I haven't seen The Cursed Child, and I do want to go and see that. When we were up in London the other week, we walked past, and I did want to see that. But I would love some books again. I would love some Harry Potter books, not screenplays, not the script for the movies, but actual books, you know, proper meaty books again, you know, and in the length of the books that we had previously. I'd love this Crimes of Grindelwald or the Fantastic Beasts to be a book first, and then, because you could then maybe kind of get closer to those characters or understand where those characters are coming from. And I think we are losing a bit with these just going straight to movies.
Yeah, I completely agree. Ali and I have said that before, that even when I'm trying to think, like Half-Blood Prince, the movie of that I thought was one of the weakest ones because the book was so strong. Yes. And I partly forgave the movie because I knew the background story and treated the movie like a colourful, moving synopsis of the entire thing. Yeah. Whereas I can't give some of these movies the credit this way. Like maybe, if there was a full-fledged novel that gave you the background required, I could cut it a bit more slack because it was just trying to trim the edges to make it a 90-minute experience. But I there is a certain depth that I think is missing to Newt and his adventures.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. You must have screamed at your phone when you saw my tweet then on Sunday.
Well, I almost unfollowed you. I'm
you
glad
hovered.
We had this conversation.
You hovered over that button.
Because I thought you almost liked it. I thought there was going to be, but you know, I checked Letterboxd. We were all right.
Yes,
we were all right in the end.
No, there wasn't. It wasn't.
We've got through this difficult time.
This isn't Justice League all over again.
Oh dear God.
Let's not get on the fact that Ben Affleck is no longer Batman, and let's start the news. But before we start the news, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify, and also on YouTube. So in the news section this week, some Pokestops have been forcefully removed. Fortnite is suing Norwich, and could a cancelled Xbox project be coming to the Switch? But James, the first piece of news there is with you.
Yeah, it's basically I've headlined this Pokemon No, which I'm quite happy with. But this is a court action in California where they're trying to settle some disputes over Pokemon Go effectively invading people's privacy.
Right.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, there have been a number of lawsuits filed since 2016 against Niantic that are basically asking for people to have their Pokestops removed from their property.
Right.
So they're hoping that upon complaints of nuisance or trespass, that they can demand the removal of Pokestops or gyms, that the company will have to do so within about 2 weeks, otherwise face prosecution. And it seems to have gone down fairly well. Like the judge have ruled in the plaintiff's favour. Is plaintiffs? Plaintiffs, yes. I haven't played Ace Attorney for a long time, so I forget which way around those terms mean. But yeah, the plaintiffs got off and actually got around $1,000 each in compensation at this point in time. Equally, if you're not a business, if you're a home, you get to have the Pokestops removed if they're within 40 meters of your property. If Niantic detects a raid of more than 10 players congregating, you get a warning message on your screens that you must be courteous and respectful of people and surroundings around you. It looks like they're basically having to try and now just audit what's going on. Admittedly, this is just in California, but I'm honestly surprised it's taken this long for this action to get this far, because Pokemon Go's been around for a good 2 or 3 years at this point in time, and so to have this first ruling within America, at least, to have these the Pokestops and what have you removed, it's taken quite a while to get through the system.
Absolutely, because I remember when it first came out, companies, coffee shops, or any company wanted to be a Pokestop, and then there was a way that you could actually request to be a Pokestop. So it's interesting that you're right. If it's right outside your house, this is going to be crazy. I mean, I've noticed still in Tunbridge Wells, I don't know about kind of where you are, but every now and then you'll see a group of people. I don't know what it's like in Nuneaton.
You've never... Oh, Antony, bless you. Never been to Nuneaton. Ex-mining town, Nuneaton.
I've only been there once, and that was to visit you, and that was it. That's the only time I've been to Nuneaton. And I just went to Bonnyton. But in Tunbridge Wells, we can still... You know when something big is coming out with Pokemon Go, because there are groups of adults, kids, all just kind of clumping together in certain areas playing Pokemon. When I go to work sometimes ridiculously early in the morning, there's people there just kind of, and you know they're playing Pokemon because they have a power lead, kind of a lead going into their pockets, so they're charging their phones at the same time. And there was even one guy with 2 phones, so you just know that something big has kind of come out.
Or he's just raiding on his own there with the party.
Yeah, he's just like he's doubling kind of two Pokemon trainers, so you know that something's happening. But I can imagine if that was happening outside your house, you would not be happy at all.
Yeah, I'm honestly actually surprised this hasn't come in sometime sooner, because when Pokemon Go did kick off initially, there was a certain amount of camaraderie around Nuneaton Town Centre.
Yes.
There was. I can remember going for long strolls at that point, to get my steps in.
Yes, obviously.
And but also just doing a lap. You got to see the same people who were obviously, nudge nudge wink wink, doing a lap as well, just in the other direction. And there was a gang of roaming gym masters just on bikes, like pedaling from one gym to the next to make sure they could defend it. So there was a certain amount of like real novelty value in seeing that all going on around you. But then by the flip side, there is, I guess there's a church up by our way that is a Pokestop, but also it's quite a town-based church, so it's just an old red brick thing, which means that either side of it there are residential dwellings, and so seeing people just like lurking around that point in time, you could see how it could get unnerving, especially late at night, people with their phones just like twiddling outside your window. So, but it seems like they want to try and automate the process as well, because part of the ruling was that Niantic are supposed to try and upgrade their systems to not only record a database of complaints, but also try and use user reviews or mapping services to mitigate any problems. So almost just going, hey, this isn't really a place.
Yes.
This is just like a point you've put on a street. Maybe no.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I don't know how it's going to affect the Pokemon metagame. This is going to be interesting going forward.
So this is just happening in California at the moment, but you can Yeah,
Yes,
but you can tell
yes.
that it's going to ripple, especially across probably the states of the US, and then maybe kind of them more so. It's quite funny, isn't it? Because, when Pokemon came out, that was all the kind of mainstream media we're talking about, but now Fortnite's kind of taken over that, so it's kind of, you're not hearing too much about Pokemon Go, but this will kind of refuel.
There's still some hardcore Pokemoners. One of our friends, we got a friend of a friend, friend of friends. They're properly hardcore Pokemon goers. Like they are max level Pokemon Go.
Oh my God.
Which just takes no go. They are now trying to get shinies of every single Pokemon out there, and I believe if stories are true, they are happy to drive at about 90 miles an hour down the seafront, and then just like twiddling Pokestops as they go, just to slow cruising for Pokestops.
Wow, that's a good Saturday night.
It's impressive dedication to a game at that point in time.
It really is. That's absolutely fantastic. That's impressive. Like I say, I'm still seeing little groups of people kind of whenever there's something new. Like I say, when something new is coming out because you can just see them kind of staring at their phones and then congregating, staring at their phones, just having a good old time. And then, speaking of something new, Apex Legends, which is the new hotness, there has been some data mining. So obviously now that this is now available on PC and console, so Apex Legends, the new Battle Royale, free-to-play Battle Royale from Respawn, there's been some data mining and looking at the source code, and a Twitter account called Real Apex Leaks, so it must be true, has noticed...
That sounds like a well-established website.
Exactly.
It's been around for years.
It's just like, yes, they've been hard at it for years, but they have noticed that a survival mode is mentioned in the code. So there's a survival mode in one of the game files, and there is also kind of details about non-playable characters as well coming into this game. And I thought it was worth a mention because Apex is the new hotness with kind of, they were saying at the moment it's like 1 in 3 Xbox players are playing Apex Legends at the moment, which is quite interesting. The rest are just kind of collecting orbs, but it's just really interesting that we've got these new things that are coming, because Apex Legends has their first payable battle pass coming in March, so that's kind of coming. So whether this survival mode or training mode will be coming out as part of that, and it's an interesting one because it's definitely something I'm enjoying. Apex Legends, I'm jumping in every now and then. Introduced it to my other nephew Will this weekend to just kind of show him, and I'm quite liking it. I'm quite liking kind of jumping in every now and then and playing it. And
what platform are you on? Sorry?
Xbox. I'm on both actually.
Okay.
I've downloaded it on Xbox and PS4, just because there's a couple of guys at work playing it on PS4. So I'm mainlining Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So
cool.
So
it's not. Is it cross-platform? Is it part of their beta?
No, I don't think it is.
Quote unquote beta.
No, it's not part of that new world that's coming soon. But but it's not yet. But you can kind of bet that that's kind of something that's going to happen. But it would be quite nice to have kind of cross progression. So on PlayStation, I'm like level 1 or something, and then you go into Xbox and I'm level 2. So it's just really good just to kind of play those. But having something like a survival mode, like a horde mode, would be great fun, because then like 3 of us could jump in and we could just have a quick play and just kind of play against waves upon waves. I do like kind of playing against NPCs while you're getting used to the mechanics of the game. I find something like this, because the thing with Apex is it puts you into a training level, and you go through, you get the guns, it all feels like Titanfall, it feels lovely, and then you're thrown into a game, so you are kind of learning as you're playing and as you're dying, and it's quite a quick respawn into the next game at the moment because it is so popular. But it would be quite nice to play something like a horde or a survival mode where me, you and Matt are just kind of jumping in and just kind of playing it.
Do you think it might dilute the game a little? Because I know that they've got their Titanfall origins, so that it would come from more... I guess when I think of like a big box shooter like that, yeah, you set it up so you have got your horde mode, your competitive mode, your team mode, or so like that. But with the battle royales, I do worry that the more hoppers that you have, and I think Battlegrounds is doing fine, so please take this within reason. Like I get the feeling that Battlegrounds has suffered to an extent because it's created more hoppers.
Right.
Different maps, different teams, different platforms, different view perspectives. Mm-hmm. So the more that you spread your base, you get more variety, you get maybe keep people's interest back up. But then you look at Fortnite, which is like a more condensed version of what they've got. So I do worry with Apex that if they introduce too many things too soon, that maybe they'll lose it. But I guess the flip side is you could argue that actually if we introduce something like a horde mode, then we might attract different players.
Yes.
Because at the moment I'm basically going like, I don't want to play a 1 versus 100 or 3 versus 60 game.
Yeah.
This versus, but horde mode I could be tempted with. Then if I get to know the characters and the players, maybe I'll try the other one. So I guess it's it's down to what they want to take a punt at.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you're right in a way that it will start dividing, especially if this is behind a paywall. Because I'll say, in March we got their first battle pass. So if you've got people that are paying that battle pass, and if you're enjoying Apex, then why wouldn't you? Because it was free to play. But then you then have that percentage of people that are going to buy the battle pass would then be playing that horde mode. So I can see exactly where you're coming from, but it's interesting to see that they're already thinking about the long game. I'm sure somewhere there's a whiteboard and they have a good idea of what they're doing with this game for the next year, and so
some post-it notes planning out what's happening.
Delicious
like
post-it notes.
Yes.
but it was just interesting to see that, like, kind of say, data miners have started looking at the code, and this is kind of one of many kind of modes that are coming, and also, which is no surprise to anyone, will be that there's going to be more legends, I think they call them, in the game.
Yes.
So there's going to be more legends kind of coming. But I think even on the main screen, there's a couple grayed out. There's a couple of spots already kind of waiting for that first drop.
Oh, that's just nice. That's just teasing, like going, don't worry, there's more coming.
Yes. Even when they bring in another 2, there'll be another row that will appear. Another two that need to be unlocked. But it's really cool. Like I say, it's so you haven't jumped in yet. You haven't kind of jumped into Apex. You're just kind of thinking about it. On the edge. It's
not even thinking. I'm just sort of like, I'm content watching other people play first-person shooters.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of games that I go like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I'm not happy with that. So I think I just get drawn into things, and I remember when I play things like FIFA and stuff online, where it's just like 20 minutes here, I can just do another 20 minutes. Just another 20 minutes. And I get the feeling Apex might be like that, where if I do badly or do even, if I do well, then it's just an excuse to sink another half hour into a game.
Yes.
So like I'm very wary of that because I have an addictive personality.
I got down to, it's similar to Tetris and similar to kind of PUBG and things like that. I got down to the last 3 groups the other night. So there was like 3 groups available, and I was one of those 2. And that there was, again, it's that kind of euphoric buzz that you get when you are kind of the last, and the circle is decreasing, you're hiding, and it just gets exciting. It's just, there is a lot of, with Battle Royale, there's a lot of running around. The great thing about Apex and also Call of Duty, to a point, you get lots of guns. Where I think my problem with PUBG, I think when I played with Manny quite a few times, I was still kind of scrabbling for a gun. I couldn't find a gun. I was like, Manny, can I have one of your guns? Because I can't find a gun. And he's like, oh God, just take that, and it's like, Uncle Manny, can I have a gun? And it was just so, but this, you've got guns coming from everywhere, and it's like, so you're tooled up and you're ready to go, you've got enough health as well, and you can revive your players as well. So I had a point where we were kind of the last 3 where my other 2 guys were down, so it's like, do I go and rush to those? I was staying quite close. Do I rush to those and revive them, or do I just try and lone wolf it? So I didn't get a chance to choose what I was going to do, because I walked out of a building and got shot, so I didn't get even chance to kind of like try and exercise a choice, because I just got shot. But it's really good fun. But then, like I say, cool. Crackdown's come and all those other games, so it's kind of, for me, it's just kind of pushed it to the side.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, because obviously Anthem is out this week / over the weekend if you had EA access. Are you dabbling this week? I do like my sci-fi. I do like, and I enjoyed the betas, or the demos, I should say. It was demos, wasn't it? I enjoyed the demos, and I think it would be good with a group of people. I think it could be worthwhile. And I'm on EA access, so I get 10 hours to have a play, even before, even when it comes out this Friday, I still get 10 hours to kind of play, and it's the full game for 10 hours. So I think that might help kind of make that decision. What about you? Are you thinking about? I just don't. Honestly, it's a time thing. I have between work and social, I just don't have time at the moment to open up another game. Yes. So which is why Crackdown's fitting quite nicely in a little slot for me. And honestly, part of it is I made the shout that if I'm going to do anything, I want to do Division as a group co-op online experience this year, because I didn't get enough into the first one due to moving house and having broadband problems at that point in time.
Yes.
So I would prefer to drop my 60 quid on that rather than drop my 60 quid on Anthem. Half of it is a bit of a Destiny hangover as well, going like I've done something sci-fi and grand in the last period of time, so I would prefer to do something different, and I think Division is filling that slot for me.
Yes.
So I've just, over the last few years, I've stopped producing a pile of shame. It's like literally, if I'm not going to play it, I'm not going to get it. So Anthem is now suffering because of that.
I mean, that's really good. And are you EA Access? Are you on EA Access or no?
No, I cancelled that because I just realised I wasn't using it. I did have it for a couple of years and mainly used it for FIFA and Madden, but yeah.
Because we jumped into the Division 2 beta, and if I had to, as you were saying, if I had to choose between the two, then the Division 2 beta sparked much more joy than Anthem did. Playing,
you've Mary Kondo
exactly
Anthem to the
a link back to the last time we were podding together, and playing that beta, with a group was really great. It was great fun. It reminded me again of when we were playing it before, when we kind of jumped into the original Division. It was fun, and it is very similar, but it's just such a great formula, and I cannot wait for that game to kind of come out. I am so excited for that. I've pre-ordered. I'm not worrying about like a limited edition or anything like that, because there's no point kind of getting something that's out 3 days before, because I want to get it with you guys, with you, Matt and Manny. We could just kind of jump in together and just kind of play this, because it was just playing that beta. It was just so much fun. It was really good, and it looks incredible. So
the next piece of news is with me, and it is swapping to the other big Battle Royale hotness of the moment, which is Fortnite. Except maybe not quite the grandiose nature that we expect to be associated with such an epic occasion. So if you imagine Fortnite putting on a party, I imagine it being just full of crazy characters and loud music and bright colours and what have you. However, that's not what greeted people attending the Fortnite Live event just outside of Norwich at the weekend experience. This was a fairly large event. 2,500 people were supposed to turn up. Tickets cost 12 quid, and unlimited access cost 20 quid. So this was a moderately serious event. However, what people got when they turned up was effectively a slightly understaffed village fete. And so I'm just looking at the news stories that have been knocking around, the likes of the Norwich Telegraph and Eurogamer and what have you. Is there's just like long queues for a really small tea and coffee stand.
Oh my god!
There is some activities for kids that include a portable caving system that is basically just a lorry with a tarpaulin pulled over the top of it. There's just an archery stand where there are 4 targets there, and it's you just think, what on earth would they play? They say they were completely understaffed, which caused a lot of the problems and complaints that have since rippled out and made this story quite popular along certain media. But they branded a Fortnite event so that people could come together and celebrate Fortnite, and it was wet. It was just horrifically organised. And then you had to pay more when you got in there to play Fortnite.
What?
A free-to-play game. You had to pay at a paid event to then play Fortnite. And just like everything about this stands as like, I'm sure there's an Alan Partridge promo stuck in here somewhere. At this
wow.
one. Like, so one of the people who attended said, like, it was like an episode of Father Ted. Like everywhere they went, it was just like more cock up and more fun at every point. But yeah.
Oh my god, this sounds awesome.
So that was going to be just the news story. Like literally hundreds of people were there, left queuing for hours. Lots of people asking for refunds. And then it emerged today that to compound the organisers' problems, who say they're going to try to run it again better next year, Epic are now taking legal actions against them for basically bringing their brand and franchise into disrepute.
Oh my goodness.
Like, they obviously made such a ripple, and they basically came out saying the quality of our player experience is incredibly important to us, whether it's inside the game or other official public events like last year's Fortnite Pro-Am, an officially sanctioned Fortnite tournament. Epic Games was not in any way associated with this event that took place in Norwich, and we've issued a claim against the organisers in the High Court of London. Like, they are properly
wow.
against this. Like, you have not only sullied like the people's money that went there, you are bringing our brand into disrepute at this point in time. It's just nuts, utterly nuts that it's gone from what could have been, I'm sure, a quaint fan gathering that was organised through Facebook to this just ludicrous washout. It's incredible that it's got this far, that Epic are getting involved.
Oh my goodness. I had to click on the link in the show just to kind of look at these pictures as you were describing it, and it's so dire. I'll put a link in the show notes because it's just worthwhile looking at. But oh my god, and I can't believe that Epic have come down so hard that saying that they're kind of their IP in disrepute. That is just holy moly.
To be honest, you can see why, because it's just copyright protection at that point in time. They've got to do if they don't protect their brand, then anyone can use it. So they need to come down on it. But I can imagine this one would just swept under the radar if it just been a quiet local thing, like effectively a village fete with a series of like LAN machines just there. But no. As soon as it started making Kotaku, Eurogamer, and the like, it's like, yep. You're in trouble.
Someone at Epic was like, "Oh no, you're not." It's like.
Maybe one of them attended.
Yes.
Maybe one of the 2,500 tickets were sold to an Epic employee who, when he rocked up with his kids, looked, there's 4 go-karts to go around 2,500 people.
And now you got to pay money to play that free-to-play game as well. That is just, oh my goodness. Awesome.
So, be careful, kids, when you organise a fan event.
Yes.
Big Brother might be watching.
Yes. God, I wonder what the fine would be for that. And does it say how much the tickets were for this event? Does it say
from £12 to £20?
Right. Okay. Oh, Epic's taking all of that, isn't it? It's just like,
I think it's probably several figures more to make sure they don't do it again.
Just to teach them that they won't be able to do it again. Holy moly, that's awesome.
It's a shame because I've been to like Lego fan events, shall we say, that are probably not sanctioned by Lego, but there's a certain amount of like professional pride, I guess, taken in it, and so you can see the event is held to a stature that won't bring the brand down. They can actually do the brand justice. But yeah, this. Oh dear. It's just the fact they've got like a Vauxhall estate car in the middle of the field with everyone looking forlornly round on a sodden day.
Oh, that's just so cool. That's just so cool. And then the final piece of news, and we should really just finish on that, but the final piece of news is it's quite an interesting one. I was just kind of clicking around and I noticed something on Nintendo Insider, and this was that there are reports, and this is all subject to confirmation, but there was reports that Scalebound, if you remember Scalebound, that was the game that was shown on E3 2014 by Xbox. It was a ginormous game with lots of dragons kind of running around and a very kind of cool dude with headphones. So Scalebound, which was coming, it got announced in 2014, and I think in 2017 Phil Spencer announced that it was that they had canned that game, but it looks like it may be resurrected on the Switch and coming as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. So there is there's an article on Nintendo Insider, but it actually came from Kind of Funny Games last week. There was one of the guys was on Kind of Funny Games, so a senior editor at Game Informer hinted during the Kind of Funny Games show that there was a game that everybody thought was dead that is being revived by Nintendo, which was really interesting. And then after that, Nintendo Insider did some digging, and they kind of have sources, and I don't know how good these sources in air quotes are, but they've said that game is Scalebound, and it will be announced later this year. So I don't know what form this is going to come, because Scalebound was quite a graphical powerhouse, if I remember, when it was before the Xbox One and S, but it looked like it could be good. Ran a bit jaggy on the 2015 E3 press conference, I think, but still, it would definitely be pushing the Switch.
Yeah, I can remember it being at Gamescom with us when we went with Replay, and it looked good. It looked good then. So I worry what it would be like ported down to the Switch. But then I guess if it doesn't need that graphical fidelity to the point, then maybe there's an efficiency savings there. But I'll be interested to find out how that would work, because it's that classic, when a project gets cancelled, who owns the IP? Is it the studio or is it the publisher at that point in time? So assuming they've worked all that out, that's interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. But I guess they resurrected Bayonetta, they kept that going, so they've got a track record of making sure some rather niche Japanese-based games come to the West.
Yes, but looking at this article, it says that Microsoft filed, after the game was cancelled, they then continued to file suit for the name. So they own the name Scalebound. So if this did come out, but the creator, Hideki Kojima, has the rights for the game. So the actual game is with him, but Microsoft owns Scalebound, the name. So if this did come to Nintendo Switch, it would probably come under a different name.
It's nice to see it have another life, because I always feel a lot of sympathy for the devs who obviously pour a lot of years, a lot of blood, sweat and tears into the games if they never make it. You know, sometimes they never actually get to released or named in public, so there's a slightly softening of the blow, knowing that you had a private project there. But to get so far with that, and then to see it whipped away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be. I mean, in the Nintendo Direct that we were talking about earlier, do you remember there was a game called Astro Chain, where you had the...
Oh, I saw the name for it. I never actually saw the trailer.
Yeah, so that's the guy who is behind Scalebound, Kojima. He is supervising that game. So whether it's kind of, you help us with this IP, you know, you can kind of put your Scalebound on Switch, maybe it's kind of something like that. But you're right, you know, this game was looking good. It was definitely looking like something that I was quite interested in. I remember when we covered that E3 back in 2014, 2015, it was definitely a highlight for us to just kind of look at that and kind of see that game. It looked like it could be a ton of fun. So, and it was a big shame in 2017 when they announced that it was been cancelled. You know, so who knows? Hopefully, maybe E3, we're going to get a big Nintendo Direct with Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, Scalebound under its new name, and lots more.
Quite, to be honest, like you said, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, and everything else just white noise after that.
I just sounded like a
those
Charlie
are the only
Brown.
two we need, really.
I sounded like a Charlie Brown teacher at that point. I was just like, wah, 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 wah. Superb. It's not. Well, that's about it for this episode. We should finish there, James, I think. And then, but don't forget, you can keep up with us at gamerslostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at LostSparkPod. You can find us on YouTube, and also Gamers Lost Spark, PS4 Community, and Xbox One Club. James, where can people catch up with you, sir?
You can find me as Big Sheep on Twitter, Xbox Live, PSN, and Nintendo. Yeah, I signed up for Instagram the other day. I was terrified. Well, I was terrified. You'll be happy to know that I didn't get Big Sheep on Instagram.
What?
I am Big Sheep 014, which is my Spartan handle, if you want to know. So yeah, I almost just didn't start using it, but I've swallowed my pride, and so yeah, Big Sheep 014.
I thought you found it. I thought you found an email that. What was...
Oh, no, that was Reddit.
Oh, that was Reddit.
That was Reddit, yeah. It turns out I signed up for Reddit like 10 years ago and forgot about it. So, thankfully, yeah. I was cursing myself at signing up and sealing my own name there. So.
Yeah, there's just myself and Wee Man were like, just try and recover it, see if you've got... So someone else on Instagram has Big Sheep.
They have, yeah. I should probably look what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah. Are they capitalising? Find out if they're capitalising. If they're not capitalising the big, then they should be gone. They should be like Thanos. They should be clicked out of the world.
I'm now checking now to see if they do crochet.
You're now checking out your Instagram. Right, and for me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. That's about it, James. Say goodbye.
They're not even using it.
They're not.
It's a private account that's not being used. It's
message them.
I will be filing an injunction.
They're damaging your brand. Superb. Bye.
Sorry. Bye, everyone. Bye.
so good. Oh my goodness.
I might have got slightly distracted at the end.
I love this. This is just my favourite Tuesday. Oh, super. Well done, James.
Oh, thank you. That was fun.
Stakes of Wizards. Banter Stakes of Wizards. That's the name of the title of this. In caps as well.
Why always do it at the front? Keep them on the toes.
Exactly. They're like, what are they talking about?